Hey guys, Gale here, and I'm here with my kids today.
Elliot
And?
Amelia.
Elliot and Amelia. And they are...
I'll be right back.
Okay, they are so lucky that they have not only a camp kind of mom, they also have a teacher mom. And so the teacher mom today and me for our camp counseling session of Oobleck has to do with a little bit of science. So, I'm sure you know the difference between a solid and a liquid. A solid keeps its shape and it has strong bonds between its molecules and it will hold tight no matter what you do to it. So this container, solid, my table, solid, even my son is solid. We also have then liquids, right? Liquids are free-flowing more their molecules. They can break apart their bonds a little bit easier, and they will take the shape of their container. Most of us think about water. So this water, if I poured it out onto the table, it would take the shape of the table, which would make a big old mess. But if I pour it into something, like a container, that little bit will absolutely take the shape of this container now. So another word we need to know, besides that we have a solid versus a liquid, is the word viscosity. Go ahead and try and say it.
Viscosity.
Okay, so viscosity is how easily the liquid molecules move or not. So we have great viscosity happening here with water. It moves, takes the shape of its container really easy, and no problem there. Something like syrup is a little bit more a strong viscosity. So it pours like water pretty easily. However, it can hold on to its shape within the container a little bit. See how some of it kind of hangs on? That means that there is
You're gripping it.
a higher viscosity. Whoopsie. And then if we take honey, honey is even thicker, right? It is more viscous. When we pour honey, it tries to stay together, all of its molecules. They don't want to let go of one another. So this is...
Oh, that's bright honey.
That's bright honey. This viscosity here, you can see, it's very viscous. It's very, very thick, and it holds its shape super, super well, even though it's a liquid, probably better than the syrup. So depending on the viscosity that you have, that will determine if you are a fancy kind of liquid or not. So we today are going to make Oobleck. And Oobleck is a really, really fun something to make. And it's kind of like a putty, kind of not. And maybe you've used it before. You're going to need from your kit your cornstarch. So make sure you grab your cornstarch for Oobleck.
Mommy,
You're
is that
also,
if I say something?
in just a minute,
Okay.
you also are going to want to make sure that you have some sort of container to do this in. I chose a Tupperware container. You want something that has some space though. So a little bit bigger than a sandwich container would be good. You could use a baking dish. You could use one of those foil throwaway kind of baking containers. Maybe a larger Tupperware. You could use a bowl. You can use a bucket even. Something though that has some sides that is going to hang on to what you're doing. Okay? Now, if you don't have any kind of measuring tools, that's okay. I did choose a measuring tool. I have a scoop. I chose the 1/3 cup. It doesn't really matter the amount. It depends on how much you want to make. However much cornstarch you use half the amount of water. So double the cornstarch versus the water. I am going to start with 1/3 cup of cornstarch.
Whoa,
And I'm going to add one more because I want double the cornstarch. Okay. And this can make a mess, so do it somewhere very careful and safe, like over a tablecloth, maybe outside, on your kitchen table for sure. Make sure you have towels or paper towels or something near. Okay. Now, half the amount of water, I did two scoops of cornstarch. So I'm going to do 1 scoop of, or 1/3 in this case, of water. Okay. So I'm going to pour that right in. So I'm adding a solid and a liquid together. Now right away you might notice that it starts to kind of mix, but some of it doesn't mix perfectly. This is the best part. You can get a little bit messy. If you don't like to get messy, a spoon will do. You can use a spoon, but I think it's best to get your hands in there. So I'm going to take my rings off just because then they don't get so goopy.
If you wanted a different color, you can add food dye.
That is true. If you would like to color it, now's the time to do it. Drop it into the water. You could add drops of food coloring or liquid watercolor.
Hey,
or I bet
Mom.
you could even get really fancy and use like beet juice or something.
And
So as you start mixing, right away it's not going to want to mix, and you're going to notice like, what is happening? Why is it so thick and sticky? And it kind of is starting to remind me a little bit of the honey. Is it a solid? Is it a liquid when we mixed the solid and the liquid together? So I'm going to keep going and kind of push my hands into the cornstarch until it's all fully mixed. Now, if you feel like, oh gosh, I need a little bit more water, I can't get any of it mixed together, that's fine. Do that. If after you add water and it's too liquidy, it's okay. Just add a touch more cornstarch. I would not use all of your cornstarch at once. And actually, I'm going to add another video link for you guys of what you can do with some of the rest of your cornstarch too. So as you continue mixing, very soon you will have what's called oobleck. And what's so exciting is that when you pick it up, the viscosity of it is nice and thick, but if you smack it, it's like a salad, and you can actually form
it's like
pieces.
It's actually like a putty. You can't smack it.
I know, so you smack it and it's like a solid, right? And instead, when you let it go, it's like a liquid. So we have this really kind of cool science experiment that we're doing, yet it's super fun to play with. It's kind of clumpy, kind of not, and wow. So we call this instead, you know, it's not salad and it's not liquid. Do you know what we call it?
Oobleck.
Oobleck, yeah. It's a non-Newtonian fluid.
Now can
I can't wait to see what you guys make.
Now can I
Make
say-
sure you share along with us. Good luck.
Hey, Mom.
Of course, Elliot, what did you want to say?
And if you were wondering what I was doing, I had a cupcake.
He did. His sister made him homemade cupcakes. I hope you get to have some special treats this week and that you enjoy your oobleck. If you want to know some other fun things to do with cornstarch, make sure you check them out. I'll see you soon, guys.